Okay, so let's go ahead into our webinar, which is going to be this form. And for this form, I'm going to go inside this webinar, sorry, and I'm going to create my index HTML once again. So index HTML, and then I'm going to create my style.css, and then because we don't really have any images that we're going to be needing, so I'm going to just say exclamation inside here, link my style sheet, so link into style.css, and then change this into the title to webinar registration form, like that. And then inside here I'm going to have a section with a class of probably home, for example, and then I'm going to close this and open this up to the side like so. And then I'm going to say let's see, does HTML5 have a date element? Does it have a date element? I can't really remember. I think it does. It should have though, but that's okay. We can just hard code everything for now because this is basically UI. And I'm going to say a paragraph saying March 19, 2021 at 12:00, like that. And then below this, I'm going to add an H1 that says the help of augmented reality and holograms, like so. And then below this is another paragraph, and I don't want to copy all the text, so I'm just going to say Lauren 30, that we have this. And then below this section, or maybe inside this section, probably I'm just going to go inside this section, make a form inside here with the class of form, like that. And then I'm going to have a div inside here, and this div is going to have a class of names, like that. And then I'm going to have a label. I'm not going to have a for attribute, so I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to say this says first name. And then below this label is an input with a type of text, and it says what the placeholder here says, enter your first name. Okay, and set this to required, and this is your with 1 O. And wait a minute, so this should probably be inside another div, like that. And then I'm just going to grab this div, oops, copy this and paste it down, change this to last name, like that. And this should say enter your last name, like that. And then let me just save this so that it formats just a bit. And then below this div with the class of names, I'm going to have a div with the class of emails, like that. And then once again, I'm going to have a div inside here, the first that says label without a for attribute. The label says business email. And then I'm going to have an input with a type of email, like that, with a name of email, with an ID of email, with a placeholder that says enter your email, and then set it to required once again, required, like so. And then below this, I'm going to have another div with a label with no for attribute, and it says title, like that. And then inside here, I'm going to say input with a type of text, and then for the placeholder, I'm going to say what is your job title, like that. Set it to required again. And then outside this div with the class of emails, I'm going to do basically something similar. You know what, let me just copy this and paste it down, change this to company, like that. Change this to company name, change this input. This is going to be an input with the type of text, and it says the placeholder here says where do you work, where do you work, like that. Set it to required once again. And then this says company size, it's a small s, so company size. And this is actually an a select option, is it? How do we do this? We're going to have how does it go? Is it option select? Option, the value here is going to be select, and then we're just going to say select inside here. The name is going to be probably, let's just say web dash developer. ID is going to be ID is going to be web developer, like that. And then the select is going to say web developer. And then I'm going to grab this and just copy and paste it down 2 more times. And I'm going to change this to full stack, like that. And then change this to full stack, like that. And then this one is going to say front end dash web developer. And then this is going to say front end web developer. And remember, we need to change the IDs as well. So front end dash web developer. And then this is going to say full dash stack dash web developer, like that. And then finally at the bottom, so outside this div with the class of company, at the bottom we're going to have a div, and this div is going to have a label without a for attribute, and this is going to say, what are you hoping to learn about? And then inside here we're going to have a text area with a name of text area, with an ID of text area, with 30 columns and 10 rows, with a placeholder here that says where do you work? No, let's just say I am hoping to learn about ... Leave it open like that. And then once we do that, then what is it that is remaining? Set it to required, of course. Set this to required. And then outside this div, let me give this div a class of text, or rather message like that. And then below this, we are going to have an input with a type of checkbox. And then I'm going to say for this input, the value for this input is going to be, I would like to receive emails about future webinars, like that. And then finally we have a button of type submit, so button with a type of submit that says register for this event, like that. Quite a bit of HTML that we wrote right there. And remember, that is not even including this, so I'm just going to open this up with live server so that we have all of this. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Something is wrong. I don't see this text. I don't see this text. I do not see this text. So what I'm going to do is add a paragraph inside here, grab this, place it inside, and then grab this and paste it inside here, and then remove this value so that we have this. There we go, looking much better. And this is a checkbox. Look at that, looking very nice. Okay, so once I do that, then let's begin styling in our CSS, and let's do everything that we've just done. So I'm going to say reset everything, so margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing to border box, like that. And I'm not really going to bother with the font this time, and we don't really need our icons, so that's okay. So I'm going to go inside the body, give this a background dash color of, let's say 111H27. This is a bit too dark probably, but it works, so that's okay. Change this text color to white color, not color. Change this to white. Okay, so once we have this, then by default I want everything in the body to be text line center, because we are on mobile screens by default. And then I'm going to say padding all around of 20 pixels, like that, which will move everything just inwards just a bit. And then I'm going to target my button, which is basically what we have at the bottom right here, and give this a background color of white, give it a text color of 111H27, and then give it a border of 2 pixels solid and white, right? Okay, give it a padding of 10 pixels on the top and bottom, and 30 pixels on the left and right. Okay, looking nice, looking nice. Let's say cursor pointer, and then let's target the button hover like that, where I'm going to say that for the hover state, then I want the background dash color to be transparent. Okay, and actually that's it basically. Oops, sorry, change the text color to white like that, looking much better. Okay, so let's go back to the top and let's target our h1. So let me just remember what class I had on the top. This is a class of home and I'm targeting the h1, so dot home, and I want the h1, and I'm going to say font size, increase this font size, increase this to 46 pixels, add a margin on the bottom of, let's say margin bottom of 20 pixels, 20 not 30, that is too big, and 46 pixels is too big, let's say 36 pixels like that. And then let me target the home h1, the home paragraph, sorry, not the h1, and I'm going to increase the paragraph to the line height of the paragraph to 1.6 like that, and I'm going to say margin dash bottom of 30 pixels now like that, looking amazing, looking very amazing. And that's basically it for this section. Now we just need to deal with our form, which is where everything is going to probably break apart. So I remember my form has a class of form, does it, right? My form has a class of form, and inside my form I want to target my names class, and I'm just going to say display flex on it. And actually, you know what, display flex is going to come in when we add media queries for bigger screens, but for mobile screens I don't want two columns to appear like that. Instead, I'm going to target for the form, I'm going to target my inputs, all my inputs, and then I'm going to say that for the home, for the form, once again I want to target the text area like that, where I'm going to say give this a width of 300 pixels, width of 300 pixels like so. Okay, and let me target all the labels. So I'm going to say for the home, I want to target the form and the labels inside, and I'm going to say display block on them, display block, come on, like that. And then I'm going to say text align, instead of center, align them to the left. Probably not the best idea, probably not the best idea. What can we do? What can we do? Oh, and you know what, I've just noticed that I gave a wrong element here in my index HTML. This is not an option select, it's a select option. So select, and then now this becomes option. So let me grab this, and this to go back into option like that, so that we actually have this drop down menu. Okay, so now that we fixed that, okay, so now we need to find a way to deal with this label. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Let me go inside my form. Let me go inside the home, and let me target the form, and I'm going to say that the form should have a width of 300 pixels, 300 pixels like that, and then set the margin of the form to auto so that it goes back to the center like that, looking amazing, looking amazing. And once again, I want to target every input that I have. So let me grab this and target every input. Actually, you know what, let me move this to the bottom, and I'm going to say that for every input, then the padding should be 10 pixels all around like so. Let me have a margin of 5 pixels on the top and bottom, and probably, actually, you know what, 5 pixels on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 10 pixels on the bottom, so that we're going to have this. Okay, and then once I do that, then I want the background color to be transparent. So background color, set this to transparent, and then set the border to be 1 pixel solid, and EEE, which is a very light gray. Actually, that's too close to white. Let's bring it down a bit, right about almost right there. Change this to that. Okay, and that's looking much better. Let's see what else we can do. We need to change the text color of the placeholder, and remember how we targeted the placeholder. We can just copy this down and place 2 columns and say placeholder, and change the color to what we've just defined above, like that. This is still looking a bit too, let's bring it down to right about there. So 66666 like that. So once we have that, then we need to style our text area. So let's target the home, and then we go inside the form and then target the text area. And for the text area, it's going to have this very same classes, and actually probably even the padding. So I'm going to grab this and then add a padding of 10 pixels all around, so that we have this. And would you look at that? It's looking amazing, looking amazing. Okay, so let me go inside my select and let's style the select next. So this is a select. Actually, wait a minute. This is a div. Let me give this div a class of drop down, so that I can go inside this div the class of drop down and then target the select, right? So I'm going to go inside my home class and inside the form class, and then inside the drop down class, drop down, and then target the select inside. And for the select, I'm just going to say, wait, how is this styled? This is the first one, this is the second one. So let's see. Let me see if I can, instead of going inside the select, first of all, let me just display flex on this so that this will go side to side. Okay. And then let me add a margin of, let's say 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Let's say 20 pixels. Separate this out even more. Okay. And then let's go inside the select now. Wait a minute, not yet inside the select. Let's say justify content to space between, so that they will take up. Remember, the form is 300 pixels, so that's why this goes to the end and this goes to the end as well. And then finally, we can now go inside our select. So I'm going to copy that and go inside the select, and I'm going to give this select the very same background colors that we have right inside here. So I'm going to grab all of this. This is basically the same style, and paste it inside here, so that we have this, and then change the text color to white for the select, and we would have this. Oops, not white, but let's wait, let's change it to this. So 66666, like so. Okay, looking amazing, looking very nice, looking nice. And then what else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? Let's go inside the text area and add a bit of margin between this text and this label, really. And you know what, instead of doing that, let me just go inside here, and for the label, let me add a margin bottom of, let's say bottom of bottom, come on, 5 pixels, so that it separates out just a bit rather than 5 pixels. Okay, you know, I've just remembered that I added some margin on the input, right? On the margin on the bottom on the input. So let me remove that. Let me remove that. And then let me go inside here, remove this margin bottom, and let's say 10 pixels on the top and bottom, and 0 on the left and right, 0 on the left and right, like that, so that we would have this, reduce this to 5, so that now we have this. Still doesn't look all that good, but you know what, it's still okay. And let me change this text color when we're typing. Let me change this text color to white, and I can do that easily by just going here and setting the color to white, so that now when we type, we have that. Okay, looking very nice. Okay, so once we have this, then let's go inside this next div where we had our input with the type of checkbox. Where was it? This paragraph. Let me give this paragraph a class of check, so that I can target it. And inside this paragraph, the class of check, let me just copy this, paste it inside here, and I'm going to target the paragraph with the class of check, and I'm just going to say display flex, so that we would have this. And instead of, you know what, instead of text align center, I'm going to say text align, is it initial? Initial should be correct. Wait, text align left. Text align left is basically the same thing that would happen inside here. Oh, you know what? Let me place this inside another paragraph. So that when I do this, come on, this is a paragraph, right? Let me make this inside a div so that I have an input with a type of checkbox and a paragraph inside here. Oh my goodness. And I know the reason why it's behaving like this is because of text align center on the body. I know this is the reason why. Or maybe not. Then the reason why, the second reason it could be behaving like this is because of this fixed width. Sorry, not here, but on the form. This fixed width. Okay, let's see what could be the other reason. What could be the other reason that you're behaving like this? Let me move the display flex here. Let me check this out. This is the div with the class of check. Okay, this is the div with the class of check. Input with the type of checkbox, and says I would like to receive image. Let me see how this looks on bigger screens. Of course, nothing would change because what if, let me just try something. What if I remove this fixed width from here, comment this out, and then comment this out? What would happen? Nothing happens. Nothing happens because, oh, okay, I see you. Let me try something else. I think it's because this isn't really a block element. So let me see. If I can go inside this check class and target the input and say display block, what happens? Nothing happens. This is so annoying. It is so annoying. Oh my goodness. You know what? Let me just disable this checkbox for now. It's getting late, I think. That's why my reasoning is also, going down. But okay, you know what? Let's just begin scaling this up, and then we are going to deal with that later. So begin scaling this up right about 600 pixels, and I'm going to add a media query here that says at media 640 pixels. Sorry, mean width, come on, of 640 pixels. And I want to target the home and then the form. Increase this width to, let's say the width should increase to what? Let's say 500 pixels, right? And then I need to target this other class, so this, and increase the width to 600 pixels as well. We don't need this, so we can increase this width to 600 pixels as well, so that it now looks like this. Would you look at that? That's looking much better already. Okay, and then what we need to do next is limit this and increase the size of this h1. So let's limit this paragraph first of all. Let me just remember where that paragraph was. It is the home paragraph. So go inside here, and I'm going to say that for the home paragraph, I'm going to set this width to 500 pixels, like that, and then set the margin to be auto, so that it centers like that. And let me say margin on the let's say top of 0, and margin bottom of 30 pixels. I think it was that I had before, 30 pixels. Okay, looking much better. And then let's target this h1 and increase its size. So I'm going to say that for the home h1, actually, you know what, let me not increase it for 640 pixels. That once I have this, then I can add another media query here, and I'm going to say at media mean width of 768 pixels. Then I want the home, and I want to target the h1, increase this font size to 64 pixels, make it even bigger, increase the width to limit the width, sorry, to 500 pixels. No, that's too small. Let's say 700 pixels, like that, and set the margin to auto, that it centers like that. And let's say 0 on the top, and let's say 20 pixels on the bottom. I think that's what I had before, so that it separates out from this paragraph as well. And then now is where the tricky part gets to begin. So let me just copy this down, because we just want to change up the widths a bit. And I'm going to change these weights, grab this. Oops, sorry. Wait, what did I have? Did I give this a different width than, come on, this should be 500. I'm starting to make small mistakes. That's not good. That's not a good sign. Let's change this to 700 pixels, and then change this to 700 pixels as well, so that we have this. Okay, and then what I want to do is now target the class of names. Remember, we added a class of names somewhere. So inside this form, I want to target the class of names and display flex on it. So I'm going to say that for the home, for the home and the form, I want to target the class of names, so that I can say display flex, so that this will now go to the side, right? And actually, you know what I've just realized my mistake. This shouldn't be here. Instead, the width should say auto, so that it goes back like this. Okay, and then you know what I should do actually is, because let me say grid inside here instead. Let me say grid, and let me say grid template columns to repeat as 2 fractional columns and 1 FR each, to repeat twice, sorry, with 1 fractional column each. And this breaks just a bit. So you know what, let me just go back to Flexbox. Let me go back to Flexbox, and remember that this has a class of email. This has a class of right here has a class of, I think, title, was it? So what I want to do is just add, because they're going to all have display flex on them, and I don't want to write it multiple times. So I'm going to say for the home, for the form, I want to target the email. I think it was called email or emails, like that. And then the next class that I want is the class of company. I think it was company. So home dash dot form, and then dot company, like that. Let me save that, and we should have this. Okay, and then we just need to structure this a bit differently, where I know I displayed this as a flex box to begin with. So let me just find out where that is. It was on the drop down, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to paste it inside here, and I'm going to say flex dash direction, set this to column, so that it would go down. But then again, let me say if I can say align items back to initial, like that. No, I think it probably has some margin. Let me just grab this. Let me see where this is. It has a margin of 20 pixels on top and bottom, so I can just reset the margin here by saying margin 0. Oh, come on, I want to work. Why? Okay, let's see what we can do. We can say on this display flex, let me say align item center, and justify content to the center, so that this would move to the center. And then right inside here, right inside these elements are divs, right? So I can just copy this, paste it downwards, and add a div here, so that it targets the div inside, and then for this one targets the div inside as well. And then I'm just going to say margin of 0 on the top and bottom, and 10 pixels the left and right. Separate them out, as you can see, looking very nice. And actually, you know what, let me just say 20 pixels the top and bottom. Too big. Let's say 10 pixels all round. That's much better. This is much better. So we have first name, last name, and everything else. And then what else can we do? We now want our text area to take up the entire width, right? So let me just find out where I had the text area, and it's set to auto. Let me grab this. Actually, no, let me just remove it from here, because we don't really need to be there. And then the text area has a width of, I think, 500 pixels by default. Not by default, sorry, but we set it to 500 pixels. So you just want to change the width of the text area. So I'm going to say set the width to probably 400 pixels. Let's say 420 pixels. Let's say 410. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but being close to the design would help. And then let me go inside. I remember, let's see, where do we have our text area? It's inside a class of message and this label. So let me target the form dot form, and then dot message, and then I want to target the label inside here, and then just say text align center, which would bring this to the center. Okay. And then for this label, let me add a margin of 10 pixels on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 5 pixels on the bottom. Okay. So that now this is actually, wait a minute. Wait, this is it. I didn't even realize that this is it. Okay, that's nice. That's nice actually. Okay, so that we now have this working on the top. We have our form, first name, last name, email, title, company name, and company size. Oh, this was company size. Okay, you know what? I'm too lazy to change this. I'm not going to change this. It's already close to midnight and I'm really tired. So that once you have this, then we are complete with this. Okay, let me see if I can probably scaling it up, probably increasing the size of the inputs would be beneficial. Let's see if I can say the inputs for this to be 700 pixels. What happens to that I remove this? Oh, this happens. That's why I removed it, right? That's why I removed it. I think that's why I removed it. Let me set it back to auto, and then let me grab this and then add another media query, and I'm going to say add media and a min width of 1024 pixels. Then I want to paste this inside, change this width to 500 pixels. Too big, let's say 400 pixels. 400 pixels would be manageable. But then why doesn't this change? Oh, this does change, but this doesn't change. So I need to target the select. So I'm going to say for the home, for the form, for the drop down, I want to target the select inside to have a width of 400 pixels as well, so that it goes all the way to the end, and then target the text area once again. So I'm going to say the text area is going to be below this because it's going to have a different width. So I'm going to say home. Actually, this is it. Grab this, paste it below this, change this to probably 700 pixels. Let's say 800. Which something breaks. What breaks inside here? Is it 700? Oh, it breaks because it goes greater than the width of the form, I guess. Let's say 750. Let's just leave it at 700 so that nothing else breaks, because I'm too lazy to think of solutions right now. And once we have that, then we have all of this working correctly for us, and it's looking amazing. And remember that I've not added this second part because it really doesn't make all that much sense to me. But you know, this can be a challenge for you. You can just add this second part, and then once you're done with the project, maybe you can link the GitHub repo in the comments, and then I will follow it, or maybe just do a review of it in the next live stream probably, or in the next video. So once I do that, then obviously I want to commit this to GitHub. So I want to go inside my terminal, cd out of this folder, and then cd into the webinar folder like that. And I'm just going to say git add all, git commit -m, and I'm going to say webinar -complete project like that. And I'm going to say git push, which will now push it to my GitHub repository. And if I check it out, then I should see this looking very nice 44 minutes ago, 10 seconds ago, and 1 hour ago. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So 1 hour ago, and it's looking nice. And I think this is my overall best looking landing page. I really like this one. Okay, so that will be it for this video. And if the video is long enough, as I mentioned before, then I'm going to split it into 3 separate projects. But if it's not too long, then I'm just going to upload it as one project. And I've just thought of another solution where I'm going to upload them as 3 separate projects, and then I'm going to upload one single project which contains 3 of them for, you know, for people who want to watch the 3 of them at once. So thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like the video. It really helps a lot. And then also remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.